We are live. What's good, everyone?
What's good? Hold on.
Oh, oh shit. Oh
I
shit. Hold
wear
on.
my sunglasses so I can
It's
know.
too late to apologize. Too late.
Completely
Sorry.
different song, but hey, it works. It works.
Solid intro.
Goddamn! Welcome everybody to another edition of the Our Thoughts Live, the 70th edition. You got Matt, you got Cesco. As always, what's up? Hey.
Hey. I will say, I was really trying to get a soundboard going before this. It's more
Oh,
complicated than I thought. But hopefully next week, I was inspired by Omar's soundboard. So
hey.
hey,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, we're gonna have. I would
That.
love to have like a soundboard where it's just like our own sound, like our own out of context crazy shit that we've
Do
said.
you like the way I flick my tongue or not?
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah.
got to be
Oh,
on
that's got to
there.
be
Yeah,
on there.
that's
That's got to be on
classic.
there.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the
yeah.
first thing I'm gonna put
What
on.
else? What else?
Um,
Leave in the chat our OTP live quote that you guys would love to see
yeah,
on our soundboard. We're taking viewer suggestions right now.
yeah.
Um, but damn, that would be so. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to hear it though. That was the funny thing about going on Rabbit Hole Radio is like they'll be playing something and I know they're playing because it's silent, like no one's talking.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm just like,
yeah.
great, this is
Hey,
great.
speaking of Rabbit Hole Radio, we got Pearl Fountain in the chat right now. What's good? What's good?
Hey.
Hey, just talking about you, just saying that we were inspired by your podcast or by your show.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I'm gonna try and find a way where we can both hear it, because I think I can do
Uh,
one where like I can make a bot or something on Discord, so that when I play it, I will hear it, you will hear it, and they will hear it,
okay.
and we should all be on the same page. But
Okay,
I'm
for
I'm
sure.
I'm gonna need
Yeah.
to do some research. So let me figure it out. But it will
Uh,
happen. It will happen.
all right. I think yeah. Again, leave those suggestions for any OTP quotes. But I think that'll do it for our little production meeting. Good meeting, guys.
Sounds good.
Um,
Let me say
yeah.
hello let's say hello to some people in the chat for
Hey,
sure. What's up, Chip
yeah.
Fan
It's
132?
it's so hard not to say hey. Once you say once, you're like hey.
Hey, hey. Um, of
I
course, we
am
got
Matthew
Jose.
David. What's up, guys? My birthday yesterday was a success. I got some gifts for my students and felt super blessed from the love. Hey, man.
Let's go.
Uh,
Happy birthday.
Yeah, man, the love doesn't stop there. We appreciate you coming through pretty much almost every stream we feel like. So
Yeah.
no, thank you, man,
From
for
your student, are
coming through.
you a teacher? That's cool.
Yeah.
If so, who like what age do you teach? What do you teach? That'd
Hmm.
be cool.
All
Cool to
that,
know.
all that. Yeah.
But yeah,
So
happy
who else we
birthday.
got?
Happy birthday. Are you a Capricorn? I don't know. Not
Hey,
to
wait,
not to
no,
assume your not to assume your sign.
your
Capricorn,
zodiac.
or is it
Capricorn, I think passed.
you're right. I
That,
think
because
so.
that's my thing.
What is it now? Aries? No. Wait. I don't know.
Let's see. What is
Tell
zodiac
me.
sign? We are, as you can tell, we are not astrology girlies, even
Hmm.
though we're aspiring
Aspiring.
astrology girlies. Yeah. Aquarius. So it would
Aquarius.
be
Oh.
Pisces, February
That's it.
19th.
That's it. That's it.
No. Sorry, I'm stupid. It is Aquarius,
Oh.
January 20th to February 18th.
Oh.
So,
Okay. Okay.
hey, I'm a Capricorn. My main thing is a Capricorn, but I'm a double Aquarius. So
Mm.
I don't know
Red
what
flag.
that
Red
says.
flag.
Yeah, red flag shit. I will say, whenever I mention that I'm a Capricorn, I'm always met with just like the most shameful, disgusted look of just like you're
Wow.
Capricorn. Okay, you're a
Wow.
demon goat. I don't
You
know
know,
if
I will say Capricorns get a lot of bad, but it's not as bad as Virgos. I think guys who are Virgos get the most shit.
yeah. Yeah, well, obviously, I think it's just because it's Drake or whatever, but I heard Scorpion, men and women are
Oh,
just the worst.
yeah, Scorpios. Yeah, I have some Scorpio in my chart, so maybe I'm a little toxic. Matthew Davis said he's a tap dance teacher around middle school to high school. I'm assistant director of a high school production of Fiddler on the Roof. Oh, fire. Okay, shout out to the performing arts.
Tradition, tradition,
Oh,
tradition.
oh, hold on, hold
You can't
on,
see me, but I'm doing the. Hold on.
hold on.
Oh, uh,
Rah rah,
hey, hey.
Rasputin,
Oh, headphone fell off.
lover
Sorry.
of the Russian queen. I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with Fiddler on the Roof. Um, but shout out to performing arts, man. I was also a little stagehand back in my day.
Oh,
Um, I
oh,
was in Peter Pan. Um, I don't know if you knew that,
your
but
pan.
yeah,
Wait, were you Peter?
no, but I was his shadow, which is pretty cool. Or
That is such a like. How did
maybe
they do
not.
that? Were you in like a black leotard and like you're just like shadowing every movement?
Yeah, so it was actually like five of us. We were all his shadows, and we were in like full black, like the morph suit, and
Mhm.
then we had like the hat, like the Peter Pan hat, so you could tell it was him.
That's
But
fire.
our whole like thing was we were like the acrobats. So like when the kids, get the magic and fly away, out the window, it was us
Hmm.
who like picked them up and like put them on my shoulder and like flew them out. And
And
so,
damn.
but we're in all black, so you can't see us. So all you see is the kid, flying.
Okay.
But yeah,
That's
I was the shadow. I was also the crocodile, which was actually super cool. Um,
that's I love the
yeah,
that. I love that.
yeah.
Okay.
It was I
Okay.
was in the head, and they retrofitted it to fit me, and so they like engineered this whole thing, and I'm like, opening the mouth and like doing all the crazy stuff.
Shit. So damn, this was a precursor to all your production
Yeah,
stuff, all the stuff that you have to do as a director.
yeah.
That inspired you, that led you on your journey to becoming the director
Yeah,
you
I think
are.
it actually deterred me away from that to film. I think it was
Yeah,
I just couldn't take the theater kids.
yeah,
But you know what? The film kids, they really aren't that much different. So
yeah.
I'm
They're
still a
just
part of it.
it's just not live. That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
just for a camera now. It's not everywhere you go.
Hmm.
It's all bits everywhere. But
Right.
yeah. Anyways, I don't even know if this is a tangent. I don't know what this whole intro has been,
We're just talking.
but that's us. That's our thoughts, baby.
There's a
Uh,
couple really late birthday wishes to Cesco. Happy birthday, Cesco. Over a month late, but that's okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, hey, it's appreciated. In my Kobe year.
Yes, sir.
So we're looking to get some shit done, man. Let's particularly with this channel. I think we've been doing a lot of streams, but Matt and I were just talking about maybe chefing up some new vids for y'all. And I know we know how much y'all love the pre-recorded videos, all the fancy edits and deep dives and all that stuff.
Yes,
So
sir.
well, no promises. No, we're not gonna mention what it is, but we got some stuff
No promises
always
that
in the
we'll ever make
kitchen.
videos ever, but
I know we're always in the kitchen,
we're
whether we're
always
actually
cooking.
making something is yeah, we're always cooking, but whether we're serving it, we don't know. In the OTP vault, as always.
Yeah.
Um, but hey, speaking of stuff that have been served to us, let's finally get into the topic of a video within the first 30 minutes.
Okay.
Stream number 70, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about I think one of the most pleasant surprises I think I've ever gotten. Music
Yes.
from a musical experience from an album. Let's talk about Lil Yachty's Let's Start Here.
Whoo,
Bam.
man. All right. Um, man. Okay. I don't even know where to start with this one. Lil Yachty. He hasn't released an album in a little bit. I don't think it's been too long. But it's been a few years. For me, Lil Yachty was always like, he had better singles, features. I really couldn't get behind a full Lil Yachty project ever. To be honest, I think some of my favorite Yachty songs are, Get Dripped with Playboy Cardi was like one of my top songs the year it came out.
Hmm.
Obviously, just
Olin.
yeah, like just all of his like SoundCloud era stuff. He was a part of that freshman 2016 freshman class or whatever. Like when it was into that, sure, but never did I think Yachty could pull something off like this album. Um,
Hmm.
Again, there's been it's hard for me to know where to start. There have been so many opinions around this album. Before I even get into mine, but just first off, and in the chat, if you've listened to it, let me know in the chat. If you haven't, definitely just check it out, just for music's sake. Like Yachty's
Yeah.
doing some crazy shit on here. That is very transformative, just for him as an artist, but also just to he's a part of that group that's like artists or rappers who have branched out and successfully done a different genre. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the album. What did you expect when you first hit play for it to sound like this? Like, let me know your thoughts. Also for you, Cesco, like, what were you expecting? New Lil Yachty album. You see this album cover. You see people hyped up about it. What did you think it was gonna sound like? And then what were your thoughts the moment you press play?
Yeah. So like you, I listen to a good amount of Lil Yachty, actually, more than I actually care to admit. You know,
Oh,
I've for some reason, I think he just struck at such like a perfect time for me to be like, because I was getting into like rap, like
yeah,
real like hip hop and starting to like really listen in on that. So and Lil Yachty was big on the scene, so I was starting to check out a lot of his albums. You know, there's some songs like Split Whole Time from
mm-hmm.
what was it, Lobo 3 that I
Right,
really enjoyed. Nothing to Prove. There, Lobo 2. I mean, like as I go through a lot of these albums, I'm like, oh shoot, I do remember listening to this. You know,
yeah,
Teenage Emotions, which was kind of like a precursor of like, you know, not exactly, but just kind of like him being able to experiment and do a bunch of
yeah.
different stuff. I'm like,
There was
I saw
a lot
that.
of beef with that album. A lot of beef,
There's a lot of
apparently.
beef, and and frankly, yeah, I get the beef, but
Yeah.
it's but I kind of in retrospect now, before I even get to that, then we get to this album, and there's a quote from Lil Yachty that we can discuss in a bit or maybe right now. He mentioned, I have it pulled up here. He said in like the listening event for this album, he said, "I really wanted to be taken seriously as an artist, not just some SoundCloud rapper or some mumble rapper." Um, so so that kind of told me like, okay, this is definitely going to be something different, but I just wasn't expecting how different it was going to be. I thought it's
Right.
like, okay, he's going to be like he's been working on who he is for the last couple years, maybe developing as an artist. Now we're going to get like the perfect Yachty album, you know, like
Yeah.
basically, like his After Hours, his My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, like everything
Right.
to love about the Yachty. But instead, he actually went completely different. Instead, we got his Yeezus, I almost want to say, where it's like, let me just experiment. Let me give you some of the craziest shit you've ever heard. I don't, it's not super polished. It's not, but it's me. It's experimental. But it sounds great in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
So with that said, yeah, going into the actual album, like, I love this album, man. This album
Yeah.
is great. Like, wow. Like, you see the title of the video. It's just incredible. Like, it starts off with this incredible 7-minute intro
Yeah.
that feels like it's three.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. I know you told me to get started on my thoughts, but also want you to kind of interject here. Just like what did you think about his like transition to that? I know there's a into that kind of sound psychedelic. It's this album, how I describe it. It's Yachty Impala. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
I feel
Yachty
that.
Impala. It's him getting into psychedelic rock,
Yes.
funk, neo funk era
Uh-huh.
vibe, and I really appreciate that. But so yeah, what do you think about the album? What did you think about him? The idea of him moving from hip hop into this new mishmash of genres.
Right. No, I'm always for artists doing something different and experimenting because that's when you get like the most interesting stuff. Um, but yeah, like when I first pressed play on this, I immediately was like, oh, I get it. Okay, he's going. This is where he's going. I thought it was gonna
Yeah,
be some new trap album, whatever. I was like, nope, this is something different. But no, I also am obsessed with this album. I feel like it's been a really long time since I've been obsessed with an album like this, where I'm like, I need to listen to it. I need to just listen to it again. Like I just any excuse to put it on, I try. Obviously,
right.
I cop the vinyl and stuff like that. I had to support. Um,
I'm
yeah,
gonna pull up the conversation we had, but yeah, go ahead.
yeah. Um, but no, man, this record is it's really insane. Just like how much Yachty has pulled from people we've already heard for the psychedelic scene, but also injected his new stuff. A new sound, the way he modulates his voice is crazy. Like truly, like either
Yeah.
you love it or you hate it. And the first time I heard
Uh-huh.
it, I was like, "This is fire!" Like it works for me. It sounds insane. Some people can't get over his voice. You know, I get it. Whatever. It's a
The
little
comparison
weird.
I've heard is Tyler the Creator Igor, where it's
Yeah,
like not good singing, but it's very emotive.
it
The
fits
effects kind of take
sonically.
it there.
Yeah,
Yeah, sonically,
yeah,
right.
yeah. This is definitely within that realm of like artists who can't rap or artists who can't sing but are singing type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you know, he made it work. The instrumentals are incredible. The concepts for these songs are really interesting. Let alone
Mhm.
like the name of the songs themselves. Like, it just really feels like some of the songs. It feels like your mind is just like breaking open and like expanding. Um,
Right.
but yeah, no, this album is. I think it's incredible. I understand. There are different opinions about it. About how, in fact, there are certain opinions I don't agree with that have been preaching all over the internet, and especially, you know, we'll get to the Pitchfork review for sure.
Yeah.
But there are certain aspects and conversations that were brought up because of what Yachty said, that quote that you said, that like he didn't want to be just some SoundCloud rapper, blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
And then there's other aspects where it kind of makes me want to talk about this objectively, in that when artists do something like this, there is a lot of discourse that kind of proves that there will always be haters out there. Like, there will always be people who contradict the narrative, just to
Right.
do so, you know. And even then,
Mhm.
like, you know, Yachty could have put out what we expected, which was, you know, a rap album, and people would have been like, "Oh, Yachty doing the same shit again. He's never experimenting. He's never experimenting in sound." And then he does something completely opposite, jumps genre, does something experimental to his regard, like to his discography, something super experimental, and all of a sudden people are saying, "Why does all these experimental albums sound the same? Does everybody only listen to Tame Impala? Go listen to real psychedelic rock." Like,
Oh, there's some H&M music. I've
yeah,
heard
you
that's
saw
always
that.
the
You
name
saw
that
that.
everyone says.
It was like,
Every experimental non
right.
hip hop album, it's always, oh, that's just H&M music.
Yeah, literally that. It was. There was a tweet that was like, some guy was like, you know, this album is good. Like, if you consider it to be like an Urban Outfitters style of trying to get vinyls sold in Urban Outfitters like type of way.
Yeah,
And I was like,
white girl music.
yeah, I was like, wow, okay, yeah. So
You're just trying to get a
before,
takeoff.
yeah,
That's
but
it.
yeah, before I get into all that, the album is good. In fact, the album is great, and one of the most inspired and just dense albums in a very long time. I feel like I haven't been this like obsessed with an album, like I said, in a while, and it's just kind of reigniting that, like, oh shit, like this is that real music, man. Like, you know,
Real shit,
like,
man.
this that real shit. This that real shit.
Yachty did it.
He
Yachty
did it.
did this. So let's, yeah, before we get into all the controversies and conversations about this album,
Yeah.
let's talk about the album itself. So, or some standout tracks to you. Let's get into it, man.
All
Let's
right.
get into
All
it.
right. Obviously,
Also, yeah. Go
Black
ahead.
Seminole, incredible. What a way to
Incredible
start.
intro.
Very reminiscent of Pink Floyd. Just this electric guitar ballad, apocalyptic ballad almost. Definitely sets the
Mhm.
tone, brings you into the entire world that Yachty has created. What I really love about this album is how he hid all the features. I really
Yeah.
like that. Like, if it's done well, you know. It's interesting because, like, you know, we were talking about the Trippie Redd album a couple weeks ago or last week, and he did the exact opposite, like literally the exact opposite, where it's a
Yeah.
bunch of features all listed out. Every track is its own single, like, with a feature that, so that it shows up on everyone's Spotify. You know, very much
Right.
catering to streaming, whereas this is like classic. You know, it just seems like the classic album structure, where
Mhm.
hidden features, which is super fire, like on The Ride with that Tizo touchdown feature,
Yeah.
that came out of nowhere. His vocals, Tizo has been going up lately. You know, he was on Call Me If You Get Lost. That really kind of brought him into the forefront. He has his own projects. I think he also toured with, who did he tour with? Maybe he toured with Tyler. I'm not sure, but
Mhm.
his feature was
Yeah.
really well done on here. He has a really lovely, like, long sustaining note in there. Man, like, Pretty, I think, is definitely one that gets stuck in my head all the time. Just the Yachty like crazy
I
high
feel so
note.
pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the way
That.
it starts, it's just like in the middle of the day, I'll just be walking and I'll just be like, oh, and like I'll just hear like the Yachty like
Yeah.
vibrating vocals in my ear, and I just have to like, it'll just like come out.
Hmm.
Obviously for me, I mean, Failure was really interesting, kind of like his little interlude track talking about things that he's learned about himself, about who he is, and actually what he talks about in that track is kind of interesting and relevant to the conversations that have been started around this album. Um,
Hmm.
Other standouts, We Saw the Sun is really interesting. It's like I would say a lot of what this album feels like. It feels like you're staring into the sun. Especially on
Mm.
obviously We Saw the Sun. It feels like there's just this burst of energy that's so much. It's like blinding and it's so bright and it's just taking over all your senses. Like that's what it feels like.
Mm.
It feels like we're
Yeah.
traveling into the sun, which is fire. Um,
Overwhelming almost like,
yeah,
but that's like the point of it, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite tracks on here is "Drive Me Crazy." It's
Crazy.
beautiful. The feature on there, I don't know who it is. I'm not sure if it's. I know Fouché's on here. I don't know which one. I don't think it's on "Drive Me Crazy." I might be on
Mm.
"Should I Be" or "Paint the Sky." I forget. Obviously there's there's no credits. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
"Drive Me Crazy" is great. I've officially lost vision is hard. The way that just like starts into just a full rock song, very industrial, and man, I mean, it's all good, man. Like it's literally every
I
song is
know.
good. I mean,
No,
the Daniel
oh,
Caesar
there's a
feature on the end, like so
oh,
amazing. Yeah,
the Daniel Caesar feature is incredible.
yeah,
But what I want to talk about is Should I Be in The Alchemist? First of all, that
yeah,
song, having a song called The Alchemist is that's big expectations right there,
right,
and he fucking nailed it.
yeah,
But that transition from Should I Be to The Alchemist, because Should
yeah,
I Be is a great record, and then it kind of zones out a little bit. You see like a guitar,
hmm,
sorry, I can't talk today. I'm just so excited, man.
yeah,
This oh my God,
yeah,
dude. We got a great album, man. I'm so happy. Anyways, um, the guitar kind of takes you through the song, it's like a very not dystopian, distant kind of uh I don't even know how to describe it, but then it takes you into the Alchemist, and all of a sudden hits you with that boom, 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 boom,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then that song is super upbeat, super vibrant, and all that stuff, and it's just so masterfully done, man. There's stuff like that where, you can just tell like he put his whole heart into it, like his
Yes.
effort, like like you could feel every single hour in the studio, man.
His whole Yatusi
Whole
into it.
being,
His
his whole way. What'd you say?
the whole Yatusi into it, bro.
Yeah,
The whole little boat. Okay, that's enough.
his
Um,
whole yeah, yeah, yeah. Before we even get there, his whole
yeah,
Batisi,
yeah,
Batisi. But no, man, great album. And then yeah, like you said, like you were saying, Daniel Caesar comes
yeah.
in at the end, gives this very almost, it's very much in the style of the album, but it's also kind of bluesy. It's also
Mm-hmm.
it's very sad, and yeah, it called Reach the Sunshine, which kind of goes into what you're saying. It feels like you're finally there, you're
Mm-hmm.
finally in the light, kind of thing, and it's kind of like a reflective moment, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What else did you have to say about that song?
Yeah, no, super great outro. It's funny because Daniel Caesar actually dropped a song the same night this came out. And so once the album finished, it just like automatically played music, and the next track was the new Daniel Caesar song. So I thought it was like the same song or like just a different part.
A
Um,
continuation. Yeah.
yeah, but no, this album, it's really inspiring, honestly, seeing that someone like Lil Yachty, who came out of literally nowhere with this brand new sound, brand new approach, brand new ideas that were heavily inspired by definitely a lot of music he's been listening to. Obviously we talk about Tame Impala.
Yeah,
We
it
can
has a
talk.
great feature on
Mhm.
Tame Impala song "Breathe Deeper."
Right, kind of testing the waters there with that similar vibe,
Yeah.
and that's a great track. Um, Very much like leaning into the Pink Floyd aspect of it, even a little bit of Grateful Dead. Very psychedelic inspired. Great album, one of my favorites this year. gonna be hard. I'm gonna wait for something to top it because right now it's my number one. Like I know that's the main discourse right now, but truly, like Lil Yachty has created something so interesting, so new, so fresh that this will sustain the test of time. Like truly,
Yeah.
I will say the only gripe I have about it is the album cover. As I'm looking at it right here, you guys are looking at it.
Right.
This does not feel like what the album sounds like at all. I know there people have tried to like spin different conspiracies about it. It's like some AI generated corporate people who, you know, maybe it's the higher ups at the label who are laughing at him, thinking that this album won't work. I don't know, kind of a reach, but you know, I feel like it should have been something crazy, like kaleidoscope, you know, all encompassing, very trippy visual that should have accompanied it, like the album. But you know, it's this. It's fine. You know, he's going for it fully. I bought the album. I bought the vinyl, so now it's gonna be sitting on my shelf, and I have to look at it.
They're gonna be laughing at me every time I wake up.
Right.
You know?
They're laughing at me every time I play the album. But you know, maybe that's what he wanted me to think. But yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I can't say more great things about it, bro. Like if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. Do yourself a favor. Lil Yachty has cemented himself as someone to definitely look towards for new and groundbreaking music. Groundbreaking. Even though some people think otherwise, and we'll get into it, but nah. Lil Yachty, like, he knocked it out of the park with this.
Yeah, before we get into it, let's just go ahead and give our ratings real quick. I mentioned to Matt before we streamed. This is, mark it, go ahead and mark it. It is the first 10 out of 10 for 2023.
Yes, sir.
I
agree.
Go.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, great album. I'm almost there was a part of me going into this discussion that was like almost like I almost don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to say something that I then find out later because I want to give it more listens and like, just like you know, it's similar to you, like I'm obsessed with it and I just want to like learn more about it, get to know it a little more. So I'm gonna listen to it. We'll probably come back to it, follow up in this discussion a little more in the coming weeks. But yeah, as of right now, I mean, you can't get better than a 10 out of 10. So,
yeah.
Lil Yachty, you did that shit, man.
You did that
I'm
shit.
so happy for you that you're being past your sound and growing as an artist. You know, we've seen a lot of the greats do it. But that brings us to our next discussion. I was talking to someone who actually I haven't talked to in a while. But anyways, we were talking about this album, and he was saying like, not gonna lie, man, this album's garbage, man. Like I feel like he just, you know, I feel like all this album was because hip hop doesn't make as much money as say other genres, and now he's expanding. You know, look at Post Malone, look at Childish Gambino, look at this artist, look at that, Drake, you know, all that stuff. And that's been a kind of like a recurring topic. You know, we go back to that quote that we started this review on is, he said, "I want to be taken more seriously as an artist, and I don't want to be mentioned as just like a mumble rapper, a SoundCloud rapper." So there's a lot of different discussions to be had, but first of all, I want to get your thoughts on that. Is like, this doesn't strike me as an album that was made with monetary kind of rationale, you know, for purposes like that to make money, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this feels the opposite of that.
It does feel the opposite. I don't know who that was who said that, but rap is like the biggest genre in the world. It's surpassed rock and roll, you know, surpassed pop. Like, I don't know what they're saying that there's no money in hip hop anymore. Like,
it is the new rock and roll, for being honest.
Yeah,
it is rock. Yeah.
So like, in fact, this probably is a huge risk for Yachty, knowing that he's not going to deliver what his fans expect him to deliver, which is rap music. So in fact, yeah, it's the opposite of that. I don't think it has anything to do with like thinking that he's better than rap, which goes into
another big discussion.
Yeah, which goes into another aspect that people on Twitter, this one guy on Twitter talked about how he thought it wasn't cool that Yachty was saying how he wants to be known more than just a rapper, and he wants to be taken seriously as an artist. And he was kind of bringing up like, why is it that every time an artist dives into something new, it's always like rap always has to take the flack for it being like not true artistry. you know,
Mm,
which I can totally see why they would say that because just you could obviously spin it that way.
mm,
But what I think Yachty was trying to say was he didn't want to be a SoundCloud or mumble rapper anymore, you know, and in my opinion, I think those are probably the lowest tier of rap, you know, like
mm.
compared to like,
It has a bad connotation to it for sure. Like,
yeah,
oh, he's just a mumble rapper.
for
Yeah.
sure. Not saying that there's incredible people on SoundCloud and on that underground scene. In fact, a lot of the SoundCloud rappers like from that SoundCloud era influenced today's rap for sure.
Right.
Um, but
Right.
because the only reason Yachty had to say that is because of that negative connotation that was placed by the genre itself. Rap always talks shit about mumble rappers, about SoundCloud rappers and other genre people from other genres too. You know, they always are like, oh, he's no Kanye, he's no Nas, he's no Tupac, he's no Biggie, he's no Common, he's no whatever. Like that is they're always the butt of the joke, you know. And so I think since up until now, like look at all the music Yachty's made. It's all like trap, pretty silly beats, you know, silly, refrains, stuff like that. Like definitely reminiscent of that 2016, 2017 SoundCloud era. And so I think what he was trying to say was like, my taste. I want to show you what my taste is, you know, in music and how it's expanded and it's good and it's different, and I have something to offer with this new, found love for, in this case, psychedelic rock. So I
Mm.
think that's where he was coming from. But yeah, let me know what you thought about that. Like what you think, what you thought about Yachty trying to depart from rap and people's, I don't know, weird takes when it comes to that before I get into this next point. But yeah.
Yeah. Um, that that conversation got me thinking about all the other artists that I feel like have expanded beyond, hip hop, and it's always and I think a lot of it's always case by case, but I think if you look at some of the examples, one of my first the first thing that came to my mind when I thought of this album was, oh, okay, he's doing his kind of like Childish Gambino type thing where he's like, you know what, I want to be taken, not maybe not more seriously, as he said, but maybe just um I want to change the narrative of myself.
Yeah.
And what Bino did, was, and it's funny that we're going to talk about Pitchfork in a second.
Hmm.
Uh, that's when he put out Because of the Internet. That's when he put out. Then he does another lane switch and does Awaken My Love. And I
Right.
think of another artist. Who's the other artist I was thinking of? Just to make it a little more.
Tyler Creator with Igor.
Oh, Tyler the Creator with Igor. The patron saint of this podcast, The Weeknd. With
Right.
R&B. Like there's a very interesting discussion to be had about, is The Weeknd a pop artist, all that stuff, and we've kind of like graduated to the point where we're like, no, he's a pop artist. He uses R&B elements and all that stuff, to make whatever you describe what he makes now. And
Hmm.
I think it's just it's always a conversation. It's always going to be a sticking point, and I feel like that narrative is going to kind of age terribly as time goes on. Not the narrative, but the take of like, oh, he's just disrespecting hip hop, because I think as time goes on, those feelings kind of subside a little bit, and we just start to respect, like, okay, he experimented, he tried something new, and maybe the next album he'll kind of combine a hybrid of all that stuff.
Hmm.
Another artist that I think went down a similar route, Drake with Honestly Nevermind, like obviously to a lesser degree, quality, I think, but um, it's like one of those things where there's that conversation of like, oh no, like what is he doing? Oh, he's trash.
Hmm.
But you got to respect it at least as like a pivot switch. He's trying new things. Again, artists, like what is an artist supposed to do? But ideally, what is an artist to do but express themselves, what they like, again, their taste. Again, Bruno Mars,
Right.
look at that switch between doo-wops and hooligans into an orthodox jukebox. He starts to really find a sound. But I think it's just really interesting that the most controversial ones are always uh, hip hop and rap. Like
Right.
when you're kind of expanding beyond that, and I think part of that has to do with like like race, like for example, like people, like I mentioned before, like people have mentioned this song is, oh, it's H&M music, and that
Hmm.
has a connotation of like it's white people music, it's white girl music, you
Mm.
know. But I don't know. I think it's just kind of reductive to say that, you know, because
Yeah.
it's not just that. It's also just super dense. He gives it his all.
Yeah.
You know, he does what he needs to do on this album. So,
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of the quality. And so, just real quick, another artist that we mentioned before, the person I was talking to mentioned before was Post Malone, and that to me is an artist that is jumping from different genre to genre for
Hmm.
the money. You know, you think
Yes.
about how'd he get put on? White Iverson,
Right.
congratulations, that trap sound. He had the Migos on one of his songs, and now he's doing straight pop, country,
Yep.
you know, 70s beach funk, whatever. But and it's cool that he's experimenting and all that stuff. But let's be honest, he got put he started off in hip hop because he wanted to start with that audience,
Yeah.
that core audience, knowing that pop is or hip hop is the new pop. So if you wanted an example of someone who isn't who is what I think people are accusing Lil Yachty of, I'd say Post Malone. But yeah, yeah, no. Mac Miller's another artist that I think did that transition really well from hip hop to more of like a expanded range
Yeah.
of variety of music.
R&B.
So yeah, so I just wanted to give a bunch of examples of artists, hip hop artists, just expanding beyond rap, but doing it respectfully, not doing it for the money.
Right.
Um, yeah, what do you think
Yeah.
about that? And all
No,
that
yeah,
stuff.
that's really important because I think like it's important to know that Lil Yachty has did this with respect. You know, like he obviously didn't just half-ass this. You know, like
Yeah.
this has a lot of intention put behind it, and a lot of it stuck, and a lot of it worked for me. But what that kind of brings up is how people get really like gatekeepy when an artist moves into a new genre, and that the people who are obsessed and love that genre start to tear it down for what it's worth, you know. And I personally hate people who do that. I hate people who just say, "Oh, why?" If she, it seems like every kid in the last decade is only listening to Tame Impala. That's all they know is psychedelic rock. You know, this album is derivative of this album that did it way better at this age and this year. Like it's derivative of this. Oh, this artist did this same exact idea better like 20 years ago. Like blah 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 blah. Like I'm gonna be real, bro. We do not care. Like we don't care. Like that was then. This is now. Music will always like everything has already been done. You know, and so who's it to say Lil Yachty can't do it, because you know what, he already did and it sounds good, like, and you know, like it would fit
Yeah.
right into a psychedelic heads playlist perfectly, especially with the experimental stuff. But what that brought up was this thought that I had randomly. It was like in the middle of the night, I was just thinking about shit. I was reading a
It
bunch of
was
the
2 a.m.
it was
It was
2
2 a.m. You
a.m.
were sleeping, and then you went
Yeah.
thoughts.
I was like, that's how the thoughts come to us, guys. It's just, I'm like,
Yeah.
our
Just
thoughts.
candid look at the behind the scenes. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly how it happened. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it got me thinking. Like, I feel like people are mad that like the fact that kids who do only listen to trap, who expected a trap album and only listen to Lil Yachty, Lil Durk, Young Thug, all of them, and they have this new album that's completely different. That's like very Tame Impala or whatever you want to call it, like psychedelic rock. They just hate that those are the those are the people, those are the kids who are discovering this, because this was their coveted genre. They have their coveted albums that nobody talks about, that they can just put on a pedestal and hang over people and be like, oh, like you love psychedelic rock, like name the last 5 fucking Grateful Dead albums, like whatever. But I think people just love to gatekeep genres and then spam them with this just niche aspects about the topic to belittle people and to force their own opinions on people, and they make wild crazy generalizations, and they take any point to do that. And so all these people came out from the woodwork when they saw Lil Yachty, especially with a rapper with Lil in his name. Like
Yeah.
everybody already has their connotation, like about like, oh, it's Lil Baby, like Lil whatever. It's like it's the same thing when people say like, oh, another rapper went to jail. What's new? It's like, oh, some kid named Lil Yachty who thinks he has the chops to make psychedelic rock just made a rock album. Oh, like people love it. Well, you shouldn't. You know, like what kind of opinion is that? You know, like let people enjoy things. Like I know people say that, but actually let people enjoy things and discover. Because it's like, why would at least for me, it's like I've discovered so much new music the past year that I would hate for someone to be like, oh, like to belittle me on that process, you know, of learning
That
new
isn't
things.
real. That isn't the real version of that genre.
Right. But it's like
Yeah.
whatever point you get into it, eventually you're gonna find all the good shit. You know, it's like
Right.
with me with like early
Right.
2000 stuff. I started with very simple. Like everybody talks about Lauryn Hill, but I love Lauryn Hill, and that got me into this huge genre of music. You know, I listened to Bad Bad Not Good. People say maybe that's pretty surface level commercial jazz, funk, you know, whatever. But it got me to dive deeper into the genre. And so I think a lot of people just love to gatekeep and love to be like, this isn't good, this isn't art, this isn't psychedelic rock, whatever, y'all don't know. And it just is this really toxic way of looking at the music in the music, not the music industry, but just the genre, different genres of music. And so
Great point.
I think it's just a crazy aspect about that always pops up when artists jump ship to a different genre. And of course, you know, Yachty had to say like, you know, I don't want to be taken seriously as a rapper. I'm not just a rapper, and hip hop heads, they hate those words. But you know, that's just, he's just an artist. Like he does, you can't put someone in a box, you know, like if they don't want to be. So when he says that, he's just like, I want to be more than just a rapper. I want to be an artist that can do anything. And right now, what's speaking to me is psychedelic rock. And here's my influences, and I'm gonna wear them on my sleeve and do something different. And everybody gets up in arms. So just a couple thoughts out there, like just some feelings I had towards just everybody who talk shit about the album and talk shit about people who like the album. I feel like a lot of it is coming from a place of entitlement, in my opinion.
Entitlement, also maybe a little bit of almost like jealousy. It's like
Yeah.
you shouldn't be this happy. Like you're too happy right now. You know, like I feel like a lot of our culture right
You
now
don't
is
get
like
it. Yeah.
you're too happy. Like I don't know. People don't like people liking things, which I
Which
just
is
find super
crazy.
interesting.
Yeah.
Like what are you, you know, like what's the point of music but to like it, you know,
Exactly.
or to find the music you like. So yeah, no, great points. I love that discussion, man. I think it's really interesting. And I think I love that someone as much of a who has much of a perception as Lil Yachty is the one that's kind of starting this conversation of like why why do that fan entitlement like you mentioned so far, you know, so well, is like why do fans kind of feel have the kind of entitlement to just like hold them to that, to box them, to hold them to that standard, to a certain thing. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited that Lil Yachty is kind of pushing beyond that, you know, and we can start to have those conversations and challenge those thoughts, because I think, you know, this is only the beginning. If you think about it, with this modern age of music, like of streaming and hip hop kind of being the new ipso facto genre, like it's still very, very young, and we're gonna see a lot of this, of a lot of moments, a lot of artists who are moments get big because of something and then transition into something else.
Right.
And it's like, how do you take it? You know? So, you know, we'll see. We'll kind of come back to this conversation, I'm sure, a bunch of other times.
Yeah.
But there is an interesting take that was about this album that, you know, a lot of people were talking about, and that is Pitchfork's album review. And you know, you've read all the jokes. Oh, they rated this album this. Meanwhile, Ice Spice's new EP got a 7.6.
Right.
Oh, whatever, you know, all that stuff. So, I don't know. I think you said you wanted to go ahead and like
We'll
do a
skim
little
through it.
reaction type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hold
go
on, I'll
ahead.
try and make it so you guys can see. But yeah, they give it a 6 out of 10. I will say Pitchfork has always had the most inconsistent ratings of albums ever.
Yeah.
And they never really make sense. But here we are reading them. Um, so yeah, the top line. They say, despite its intriguing concept, Lil Yachty's voyage into soul and psych rock runs aground. Um, I'll just read the first blurb here. They said, at a surprise
Yeah.
listening event last Thursday, Lil Yachty introduced his new album, Let's Start Here, an unexpected pivot with a few words every rap fan will find familiar. I really wanted to be taken seriously as an artist, not just some SoundCloud rapper or some mumble rapper. This is the
Mm.
speech rappers are obligated to give when it comes to time for a drum loop to take a backseat to guitars, for the rapping to be muted in favor of singing, for the ad libs to give it up to the background singers, and for a brigade of white producers with plaque lined walls to be invited into the fold. Very charged wording here.
Yeah.
Already, this guy's a hater. Like, for
Yeah.
no reason. No reason at all. Um,
Hmm.
like, okay.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Rap fans,
Uh,
including myself, don't want to hear it. But the reality is that in large slices of music and pop culture, rapper is thrown around with assault on the tongue. Pop culture is powerfully influenced by hip hop. That is until the rappers get too close and the hands reach for the pearls. If anything, the 25-year-old Yachty, as one of the few rappers of his generation able to walk through the front door anyway because of his typically gusher sweet sound and innocently youthful beaded braid look, might be the wrong messenger. What
yeah.
sour...
This part is interesting to me.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, this part. What's sour about Yachty's statement isn't the idea that he wants to be taken seriously as an artist, but the question of who he wants to be taken seriously by. When Yachty first got on, a certain corner of rap fandom saw his marble-mouthed enunciation and unwillingness to drool over hip-hop history as symbols of what was ruining the genre they claimed to love. A few artists more beholden to the tradition did some finger-wagging. Pete Rock, Joe Budden, Vic Mensa, Anderson .Paak. Subliminals from
Mm.
Kendrick and Cole, but that was years ago,
Mm.
and by now they found new targets. These days, Yachty is respected just fine within rap. If he weren't his, year-long rebirth in the Michigan rap scene, which resulted in the good not great Michigan boy boat, would he? Oh my God, I can't even read. Would have been viewed solely as a cynical attempt to boost his rap bona fides. His immersion there felt earnest, though, like he was proving to himself that he could hang. Interesting. Feels
Yeah.
institutional. Let's Start Here feels institutional. It's for the voting committees, for the results, for Questlove to shout him out as the future, for Ebro to invite him to the back of his radio show and say, my bad, you're dope. Never mind if you thought Lil Yachty was dope to start with. The goal of this album is to go beyond all expectations and rules for rappers. Interesting.
Yeah. Here, if you want to take a break, I can read the next couple bits.
Okay.
Yeah. Very interesting article. You can tell it's very charged. Yeah, like you said, it's very charged. It's trying to frame it in a certain way. It's
Yeah.
projecting a lot of ideas onto Yachty's statement. Again, that idea of like, oh, it's not the idea that he wants to be taken seriously, but who he wants to be taken seriously. It's very obvious, like who he's trying to say. It's the white audience. He's
Yeah.
trying to get them to kind of embrace him, all that stuff. So he says, and the big pivot is a highly manicured and expensive blend of Tame Impala style psych rock, A24 synth pop, loungy R&B, and Silk Sonic-esque funk. A sound so immediately appealing that it doesn't feel experimental at all. In 2020, Yachty's generational peers Lil Uzi Vert, Playboi Carti released Eternal Take and Whole Lotta Red, albums that pushed forward pre-existing sounds to the point of inimitability. Showcases not only for the artist's rap, but for their conceptual visions. Yachty, meanwhile, is working within a template that is already well-defined and commercially successful. This is what the monologue was for. To Yachty's credit, he gives the standout performance on a crowded project. Same gift for versatility that's made him a singular rapper. He bounces from style to style without losing his individuality. A less interesting artist would have been made
Yeah.
anonymous by the... Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of names here. It kind of gets into like the specifics of the album, all that stuff, writing credits, and kind of like other artists who have done similar things. He mentioned Tory Lanez for some reason. Uh, so and yeah, no. Is there just real quick,
Yeah.
kind of skimming through it? Um, Here, we can go to the last paragraph real quick. Instead, consider this album. Well, here, just a little bit before that. It's also easy to digest, so pitch perfect, so safe. Let's start here. clearly and badly wants to be hanging up on those room walls with Currents and Blonde and Igor. It might just work too. Instead, consider this album a reminder of how limitless rap can be. We're so eager for the future of the genre to arrive that current sounds are viewed as restricting and lesser. But rap is everything you can imagine. I'm thinking about Poland, a song stranger than anything here. Straight up 1 minute and 23 seconds of chaos, as inventive as it is fun. And I took that track as seriously as anything I heard last year because it latches on to a simple rap melody and pushes it to the brink. Soon enough, another rapper will hear that, take it in another direction, and then another will do the same. That's how you really get to the future.
Wow. So this guy really
So,
wanted a whole album of just Poland for an
mhm,
hour.
yeah, yeah, and then yeah, so nah, I reject this take. It's
Yeah.
it's a it's an interesting take. It's exactly what we were talking about before, where it's like you're just very gatekeepy and all that stuff. Because to me, when I think of this move, again, maybe we're talking in circles here, maybe we're reiterating our points, but it's not so much that he wanted to move away from rap. It's more that he just wanted to expand.
Yeah.
And who's to say he can't drop another rap album? He's not
Right.
purposely like permanently going away from the genre or like denouncing it or and all that stuff. I think it's okay to be liberal to like he mentioned before, like a lot of his old songs, even his hip hop songs, are challenging the what we knew as hip hop, and all that stuff. So he's always had that kind of chip on his shoulder, that aggressiveness to kind of move beyond what is known. So I mean, like, who's to say he won't do that again for again psychedelic rock and all that
Right.
stuff?
I think a lot of it
Yeah.
is just they Yachty framed this as some sort of like rejection of the norm or like some sort of new take on psychedelic rock where I think he was just talking about himself. He was talking about how he wanted to break from who he was and who he was known for. I don't know
Right.
why this guy and all these other people thought that all of a sudden Lil Yachty's going to come in and save the psychedelic rock genre and do something so groundbreaking that it will rival the Grateful Dead. It will rival Tame Impala. Like this is his first iteration into this genre. Like, come
Yeah.
on. Like, what do you really expect that was going to happen? Um,
Hmm.
I think it's more impressive just from an artist standpoint that he did this than the music itself. If I'm being real, I understand where they're coming from. How a lot of it is familiar, a lot of it is so easily like acceptable. Sure, but the
Yeah.
fact that he was able to capture that on his first try, like on his first iteration, like that he
Yeah.
was able to take and understood, his ear was trained well enough to know what the best parts of his these genres that he loves and put them together, put his own thing on it, and created a good album. Um, I'm not saying it's going to change the fabric of time and space and music will never be the same again. It seems like this is what this guy thought it was going to be or hoped it
Yeah.
was going to be. And when you do
Yeah.
that, you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Hmm.
So I think a lot of people who come from this angle are setting themselves up to hate the album when you can't
Right.
just look at it objectively in its own moment in time that these sounds happened. Like, you know?
Hmm.
So,
And to yeah,
whatever.
one more thing, just to nitpick the article a little bit more, they bring up Lil Uzi Vert and Playboy Cardi as examples, and I feel like that's just such an invalid comparison. Just because, first of all,
It's just
I
him
think of
it's him pinning him as a rapper again when he just wants to
yeah,
not be that.
exactly. Like I think about it, a philosophy that I've kind of adopted, and I think especially with like social media and all that stuff, uh, and now with music kind of being very comparison driven. I kind of hate comparisons to a certain extent, even though we just came out with a video talking about
Mhm.
who compares to Michael Jackson kind of thing. Uh, but I hate comparisons in that it's always gonna downplay somebody. It's always
Yeah.
gonna be who does it better, who does when really like whether it be life, whether it be an artist's journey, it's a very individual journey. Like it is, it's who you are and you're learning and
Yeah.
then you're experimenting and then you're turning that into an album or art and all that stuff. And to kind of compare how, you know, Lil Yachty kind of progressed beyond the sound of rap to what Playboy Cardi and Lil Uzi Vert what they did experimenting with rap. It's kind of just like such a weird you know,
Right.
it's you're comparing different things. Again, like I mentioned,
You
like Lil
can't really
Yachty
compare. Yeah.
is trying out a whole different genre. Meanwhile, you know, Playboy Cardi, whole lot of red. I think the main thing was like he kind of injected a little bit more punk rock into hip hop. So I think it's just lazy comparisons.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get real, um, and not to say again, not to say that any of their journeys are better or worse. Just saying it's different.
It's
Stop
different.
comparing them. And what they each all those are albums you mentioned that the person mentioned, Eternal Take, Lil Yachty's Let's Start Here, Whole Lot of Red. They're all great and they're all in their
Yeah.
separate respect. But
Great in their
you
own
know,
ways. You don't need to compare
sh-
everything.
shut up. Yeah, we don't need to compare. Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Uh,
I
I
think
think we had enough
we've exhausted the
virtue
topic.
signaling. I think
Yeah.
we've had enough of our high a little bit. But no, great album, 10 out of 10. Lil Yachty did his thing. If this clip somehow gets to you, man, respect the hell out of you for doing this shit, man. This is incredible.
Yes.
So yeah, man.
Moving on. Moving on to our
It's too late to apologize. It's too late.
Hey. Oh, hey. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the weekend update.
yes, sir. It is time.
Woo!
It is time.
Okay.
Okay, what are we talking about this week? I got it right here on the screen.
Yeah, man. All right. So he was hinting a couple days ago about, oh, I got something regarding a film about this concert. Da 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 da. And here it is, live at SoFi Stadium. We don't know which one. It could be the one where he cracked. Imagine it's just like the film is just like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's
and
5 minutes
like,
long.
It's like a dramatic walkout. It's a dramatic walkout. You know, from behind, he's walking to the stadium. It's like DJ Khaled at that TikTok event.
Yeah.
You know, he comes out. He goes out, and then
Yeah.
Los Angeles. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't think it'll be that.
I hope not. Even though it would be very interesting, it would definitely get trending for sure.
I personally thought that it was gonna be a tour documentary, but it's just a concert special like how they did with Kanye and
Tomorrow.
Kendrick and Tyler, but this time it's gonna be on HBO, and I don't remember the last time if there are any concert specials on HBO. To be honest, this might be one of the only ones. But no, I'm excited to see it. I think I feel like he did this because so many people have been uploading like the Weeknd Dawn FM like After Hours Till Dawn like 4K full entire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, I don't think we've said this on stream before, but let's say it. We here at the Our Thoughts podcast would love to give our deepest and most sincere respect to the people running the Roblox
Yes.
After Hours Till Dawn concert series.
Yo.
Y'all are killing it. I've been reading about what you guys or hearing about what you guys have done. You guys do rehearsals and
Yeah.
you guys have like to set up every state. You got to set up each individual cell to have like the stadium, and you guys
And
like
it's
change up.
it represents different stadiums, like actually like
Yeah, SoFi
recreates them.
Stadium,
Allegiant.
Levi Stadium,
Yeah.
all that. Allegiant, yeah.
Yeah.
And y'all are killing it. Y'all are doing great. No notes, literally
Yeah.
0 notes. The lighting's incredible. The choreography. I don't know if you saw, but they do like literally in the chat. Whoever's playing Abel is like saying like left side, and the left side of the stage will get hype. And he's like, all right, it's not. He does all the shit that
Yeah.
is in the concert. So no, just wanted to real quick before we get into the concert thing. We stand in solidarity.
Yes, I would love
To
to.
the
I think
Roblox concert.
they're on hiatus for now, and they're setting up for their Europe tour. So
Yeah.
whenever that comes around,
Rough tour.
I really want to like tune in and like I don't know if it's like if it's gonna time up with our live streams, but maybe I'll pre-record us just like at
I would love
the Roblox weekend
Oh.
concert. I would love that.
Yeah,
it looks
man.
lit,
Oh my
bro.
God.
I just
Yeah.
if this is the only way I can see the weekend, bro, is on Roblox or this
Yeah.
or this special. So
And it's really good too because you have the different camera angles. Like
Yeah.
it'll be zooming in or pushing in, flying in.
Right.
In case you guys don't know, they also what they do is they take the audio from whatever live concert it is, San Francisco, or I guess it was Santa Rosa, LA, all that stuff. They use that audio as the audio for the concert,
Yeah.
and they play it, and then they're actually like, like role playing the concert as
Yeah.
on Roblox. And you can
So
show up
funny.
yeah, like my favorite part is when you'll see the Weeknd, he starts off at the stage, right? And then he'll walk down the runway, and there's usually like a really cool angle where you're following him,
Mm-hmm.
and you just see everyone in the crowd like following too. Like just imagine if that was a real concert where you just saw a whole crowd just like following Abel as he
Oh
walks
my
through. Like I don't
God.
know, like it's a whole nother concert experience. But so yeah, just wanted to give our flowers while we can.
Yeah. I
So
need to see it.
please,
I need to see it
yeah,
for my own
let's
eyes.
go to the OTP. Will definitely be making an appearance at some point at one of these concerts. So yeah, we'll make that happen. But anyways, the Weekend live at SoFi Stadium, man. What do you think? This is gonna be pretty dope. I mean,
It's gonna
seeing
be
the
fire.
Weekend cinematic live,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited. I really enjoyed the Mr. Morale one. I think that was incredible. It felt like I was there. So I'm gonna be on my couch. Lights gonna be off. I'm gonna be pretending that I'm there. And you know what? For y'all who went, I'm gonna have a better view than you did. Okay, so maybe not Curry. Curry had a pretty good view. He was like VIP, like front row.
There, man.
Yeah, he spent a pretty penny on those tickets. But I spend like $10 a month on HBO, and I'm gonna see it too. So I don't know what to tell you.
With different angles, high
Yeah,
quality camera.
the perfect audio. Like I'm not gonna have this big old moon in my way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that was wild.
yeah.
The fact that you could possibly have the whole concert just blocked.
Out. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
but,
I'm excited though. I'm. It's interesting that he chose this one to do. I will say he's done several SoFi shows though, so I don't know which
Like
one.
5 of them.
Yeah, like a
Right.
bunch.
Yeah.
So it must be like the perfect one.
I will say though, we have we have gone through the set list together. Do you remember? Like I think we were recording that in person stream in my backyard. In case you guys don't know, we then spent the rest of the night just playing. I think Ghost of
yeah.
Tsushima on the PS4.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
blast 4 hours till dawn studio version.
Yeah.
And man, when I tell you our just to give our audience viewers a little bit of a fun image. Just imagine like our reaction during the "Die for You" into "Is There Someone Else" transition was just like, "Oh shit!" Like, yo, this is the one. So
I
I'm
had to
excited
pause the game.
see,
I had to pause the game and stand up. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, hold on.
There are so many times too where you like killed someone as like it was like a beat drop or something. It was
Oh,
like the
yeah.
hills or something.
It was like, it
Oh
was
my
sick.
God. I love it. That was such a funny ass moment, man. And also, you getting to hear the set list for the first time, super dope. But yeah, no, this concert's gonna be exciting. Here, let's get. There's some messages here. First of all, our boy Laksh says what's up in the chat here. A Chip fan says, "What would you guys do if you met Abel?"
I'd probably fold, bro. I wouldn't
Yeah?
lie. I'd be like, oh, actually, I'd be like this. Hey, Abel,
Hi.
because
Wait,
you know that dude is like 5'4".
and we're both 7 foot,
And
so it's kind
yeah,
of like,
I'm 6'3",
hey, man,
so be
how you
like,
doing?
hey, Abel,
Yeah.
Thank
Got a
you.
pat on my- multi platinum generational artist. Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
but
man,
most
how you-
streamed record in the world, most listened to artist
Yeah.
ever on Spotify. What up?
Hey, not gonna
Um,
lie, not gonna lie to you. I would probably get very. I've described myself as like when I'm drunk, I get very sentimental. Probably the first thing I do is probably give him a big old dap hug.
Yeah.
Dap transition into the hug. Hopefully he's okay with that, and I'd be like, "Hey man, like you changed my life."
Right.
Yeah.
I'd
You
probably
saved my life.
Yeah, I'll probably snap a pic, and then I'll probably be like, "Yo, remember that video about After Hours? A couple years ago, you saw it. You DM'd us about it.
You
That's-
probably watched the part where we talked about your sexual activity.
Yeah, I would be like, I would ask him straight up, like, did you watch the whole thing? I just need to know, did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
and he'll probably be like, yes, and then I'll probably apologize.
That's
Probably apologize for the ass cheeks on the soundboard part of the we
that
had
part.
sex in the studio segment.
I'll probably if we have drinks available, I'll probably start drinking a couple when we're starting to talk about so yeah, I'd also probably ask him like what is like the most wrong thing we've said? Like what of all the things we said where it was like the just like completely terrible worst interpretation
Well,
of
it
the
should be
thing.
like, he's like, your Kiss Slam video was all ass. None of it
Oh,
was good.
that would actually hurt.
None of it
There's
was true.
Mr. Weeknd, that was I thought that was a Peabody winning award winning video in my
He's
opinion. The
like,
whole
yeah. He's like, no,
for the
sorry,
ass,
you like,
missed the point completely.
yeah,
I
Kiss
did not
Slam.
want it to have that kind of impact. Like,
Yeah, the Kiss Slam video was a miss, but I will say the top 10 things you missed from the Idol trailer, I think you guys nailed it. Like, knocked it out of the park.
I would want his thoughts on that video because
Yeah.
I wonder if at what point was he like if he watched it thinking it was like a for real reaction. The reaction to that video has been really interesting. They did not love the it's funny because the girl from the Trilogy album cover
Right.
is
It
the
is
Lily Rose Depp.
Lily Rose Depp. Everyone's like, she was 12 years old when that album came out. I'm like, that's the joke, bro.
I know. Just if we're patting the Weeknd on the head, I just want to little boop on the nose for those people saying that. So dumb. Come on now. But yeah, let's see, is there anything else here? Also speaking of the Weeknd, I can almost taste the Die For You remix with SZA, with her saying she wants to do it. It's finally hitting the top 10 Billboard awards, not 6 lately.
I don't know. I heard a little snippet of it. I don't know if that's the most recent version or what, but she could keep that. I'm not even joking, bro. It was kind
Oh.
of ass.
What was it about? Was it the mixing and mastering of it? Was it the
I
just,
understand
like, the
if it's not mixed, but it just didn't go. Like, it didn't flow at all. I'm like, did she know, like, the beat when she, like, was doing the feature? Like, this could be like, this could be like a reference track that she threw away that it doesn't sound anything like it, and it's actually amazing. Like, but from the leaks that I've heard, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, it doesn't even work. That's just me. If someone has a better leak, send it to me. It could be way better than what I heard, but I was like, what
the Weeknd? Could you just send us the final version? I think we
Yeah.
promised we won't send it to anybody.
Just send me the hard
We're
drive. I'll just have it on me.
Yeah, while you're at it, please send us Heaven or Las Vegas, whatever you're working on with Mike Dean. Oh, that's another thing we forgot to
Oh
mention.
yeah,
real
the
quick.
Mike Dean.
Yeah, what do you
They
think that
cooking.
is? What do you think that is? Do you think that's
Bruh,
the next album?
new
Do you
album.
think that's the
No,
Yeah?
no. That's a new album. It's
Okay.
I think he's cooking, bro. Like, like, come on. Like, he did the like silent zoom in on the track playing when you think, like, in the studio.
Right.
Like, the last time he did that was After Hours. Was Dawn FM. He's cooking, bro. I think that the Idol, like, whatever music he did for that, whatever, it's already done. Like, blah blah blah. They already, like, it's probably been done. Like, it has to
Yeah.
be. But it's coming out like in a couple months this year. So he's back in the studio. Like, and the fact he posted the photos, like, he's cooking. And him and Mike Dean, bruh, it's the synths. I didn't think they could get any better.
Any synthier.
Any synthier.
Yeah, no. The reason I asked that was just because I read a theory that. Sorry, I read a theory that he, people were saying maybe this is just for the Idol soundtrack. This is maybe him producing, like, the character that Lily Rose Depp is playing. Maybe she'll have like a hit single that has like background vocals with The Weeknd. It's like produced by The Weeknd, all that stuff. So maybe I do want to temper expectations and maybe like. Maybe this is the Idol type thing. But if this is the new album and we're underway, like, this is like, bro, we're getting into what could potentially be like the culmination of the Weeknd character, you know? That's exciting as hell. So,
We'll see.
yeah.
We'll see. I have no idea what the timeline looks like. He hasn't even fully, like, wrapped up the Dawn FM era, it seems like. Obviously, like, he's still touring. He has the whole Europe leg, right? He hasn't even started that. So I don't know how much, if it's gonna even be this year. To be honest,
Mhm.
it's gonna take a lot of time. But him and Mike Deaton, they're cooking something up. Um, I'm excited though. I'm excited to finally like see through what this trilogy is. Because we've been
Yeah.
talking about the same shit over and over. Dawn FM After Hours, Dawn FM After Hours. We know
Mhm.
where he stands. Like let's get something new. So
Right.
yeah, we'll see. I don't know. The
Mhm.
Mike Dean photos got me hyped though.
Yeah, perfect timing. I think with like the way After Hours was kind of went leaked into Don FM. I think things are looking right for the timing in terms of like we will be properly anticipating this next time. Like it'll be the perfect amount of time of away from Don FM, away from After Hours, so we can finally get that
Yes.
conclusion. Timing is beautifully done. Let's close this weekly weekend update with one last thing here from Fade, and I believe it was just Fade. I don't know if we mentioned this for the Is There Someone Else music video, but what other song on Don FM will get a video?
I mean, it has to be less than zero. Yeah, that's what the chat's saying. It has to be less than zero. I mean,
Yeah.
close it out. Less than zero. It needs its own video.
Yeah.
It's like one of the best songs on the album, in my opinion. Like, you gotta give it a big send off. And hopefully,
Yeah.
like, a good way to transition us into what could be next. I think a good way for this to go would be we get the live at SoFi Stadium documentary or special. He goes on the
Mhm.
Europe tour. Uh, in that time, we get the Less Than Zero music video, and it'll probably line up by the end of the tour that he drops the music video. It might not be probably till later in the year, but it transitions us and it gives a little hint onto what's to come. And then
Yeah.
either we'll get the next album at the end of this year or the top of the next. I don't think we're gonna get it this year. If we do, I'm gonna be like, the Weeknd must be working on a different timeline than the rest of us on Earth, because I don't know how he has time to do an HBO special, tour the globe,
The
and
Idol.
yeah, the Idol, and do a whole new album that completes the greatest trilogy of his career. Like, I don't know if that's gonna be this year. I feel like he needs to let it cook. He needs to give time in the oven. But I
Yeah.
think what we will see is whatever that last music video is, it's gonna give us a hint as to what's to come, and then once it's ready, 4 or 5 months after that last look, we'll start to get hints, the rollout, the first few crumbs of the next chapter, the final chapter. Um,
Yeah.
for me, I would like it to go that way.
Hmm. Yeah. So I love that. Someone here mentioned Chip Fan mentions a Less Than Zero and Phantom Regret combination is just would
Yeah.
just hit the spot perfectly. Having that Jim Carrey
Right.
beautiful poem, and seeing just like shots of like I don't know, just concepts like like the
Right.
love and life and all that stuff would be incredibly introspective way to end this era, which is what the album is about. And I will mention, I think I've mentioned this before in our How Do I Make You Love Me uh deep dive, music video deep dive. One thing I would like to see is like him like emphasize like how much of a loop this is, like we haven't really gotten that confirmation. We kind of
Mm-hmm.
have, it's kind of inferred if you really like kind of read between the lines, but I would like to see just like basically here we go again. First of all, seeing Tyler the Creator and The
Right.
Weeknd on screen together would just be such a trippy experience. But also seeing them kind of like basically I would imagine it's like 1,000 music videos, 1,000 of these Don FM music videos where it's just like different themes, all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
condensed into like 2.5 minutes. We see him messing up all the way around, in many different ways. So, and we kind of just emphasize like this character's been through it.
Right.
So that would be something I would like to see. But if I could imagine this being, we're getting towards the tail end of
I
this
think I
era.
think what's gonna happen is we're gonna get a new character, and it'll be, he hinted at this. Okay, this isn't a reach.
Okay.
We have the current Abel, the sinful one. We have the old Abel. Think back to the is there someone or not is there someone else? The animated music video.
How do I make you love
How
me?
do I make you love me? Think back to that. The
Hmm.
next chapter will be Baby Abel.
Abel.
Baby Weekend. Baybel, if you will. Remember when his limbs were tearing off? He had little baby hands. Come on, make the parallels, people.
People love that.
He's gonna come out. He's gonna come out on the stage as a child. Actually, he's gonna be strollered out, and it's
by one of the red-robed women. They're gonna be they're gonna push him, and it's like left side.
yeah.
Right side.
Yeah.
Right side.
How do I make you love me? Mama.
Do you like the way you look?
No.
Come on now.
Do you like the way I shit my pants or not?
It's gonna be young baby Abel.
Grilling. I don't even know. Something about a bottle. I don't know. You could do something with bottles, but it's actually milk. That's the joke I was going there, but
someone had. It's there.
Yeah, go ahead. You just hit us up on Twitter for something about Baybel is the new theory. Spread the word.
Hashtag Baybel. That's what I'm expecting from this new era. He's aging backward. Yeah. I think this is the Benjamin Button trilogy. Aging backwards. We saw him old, saw him new, or we're gonna see him new, and then I think he's just gonna go he's gonna be taken off into the dawn and back from the stork that delivered him or something. I think that's he's gonna finally heal his inner child by becoming a child.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Very, very deep and philosophical.
The
idea of it is so funny. Is of a little baby getting whirled out. And then it's like. I don't know if I can be alone again. It's just a little baby thing about all these. It's like, I take half a Xan and I still stay awake.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, if you're listening on the podcast, if you're watching this back, you the 7 of you that are here with us, below every single Weeknd tweet, go ahead and just hashtag Baybel.
Hashtag Baybel. Hashtag baby Abel. Hashtag baby Abel.
And then tag us.
Yeah.
And then
you know what? I'm gonna create an image. I'm gonna go on AI or something, and I'm gonna create an image that's the Weeknd but as a baby, and then that will be the face of our movement.
The Baybel movement.
The Baybel movement. You'll hear it here first.
Okay. The Baybel movement. There you go. I think on that note, let's go ahead and transition into what is in our rotation.
All right. As we wrap up here. Man. Yeah. Obviously, listening to Lil Yachty.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's cool. Looking up on here. Okay, I've been listening to Voodoo by D'Angelo. Finally getting into that. What some people consider to be one of the greatest albums of all time. A lot of people's I've seen saying it's their favorite album. So I'm like, okay, what's the hype?
I haven't listened to that album in a while, but I just love that song.
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
No, listening to that, I downloaded it. I had 2 6-hour flights this past weekend, so I had a lot of albums just saved, and this was one of them. And it's incredible album, really well produced, beautiful. I get it. I get the hype. Another one. Oh, here's a little deep rec for you. Talk Tomahawk by Hiatus Coyote. Album cover looks like this, a little coyote, I guess. It's a really well done album. This is from 2013, but they're kind of very. One would say they're gender or genre fluid in that they blend a lot of things together. A lot of R&B, a lot of funk, a lot of jazz. They've sampled a lot of songs from Beyonce, Kendrick, Anderson .Paak, Chance the Rapper, Drake, into their own albums. They've collabed with people like Q-Tip. Great stuff. I've just discovered them now. I'm getting deeper and deeper into my funk multi-genres here. This is definitely a more modern spin, but highly recommend. Honestly, all their music is great. They had an album, Mood Valiant, I think, came out in 2021, their most recent one. But I think Talk Tomahawk is their first, technically. Fire album. Very smooth. Very vibey. And I'll give you one more rec. You know what I started listening to, bro? Ariana Grande's debut album.
Ooh.
Not sure how many people are Ariana Grande fans here. You've probably heard it, but Yours Truly by Ariana Grande, bro. She needs to go back to this sound. This is pure. It's like 2000, like Ariana Grande over 2000s R&B, like, and it's even orchestral at times. Like, it's incredible. Like, I don't know why she went so far from this sound, but the first song on there, Honeymoon Avenue, what a ballad. I mean, my God. Just listen to this. I have respect for Ariana. Like, for real, I was like, damn, I've been sleeping on this. And sleeping on Ariana for a long time, but she's great. I think that she needs to revisit this sound and revisit her trap era, because that was fire. With Break Up With Your Boyfriend, because that song always goes hard. The three rings or whatever, 7 rings, whatever that song is called.
Rings,
yeah, hard. Yeah, so shout out Ariana Grande.
For sure. Hey, shout out to Ariana Grande, my favorite The Voice coach, former The Voice coach. It's always funny because I remember we were watching that show, and I always had a joke of her, because she always like would cry. She'd always be like, and I just pictured myself. You guys have heard I've sang a couple times on the stream. You guys have heard me singing. I'm just imagining the image of me singing and me pushing her to the brink of tears, like, oh. Just me singing, like, I don't know.
God. Just hit the button.
Yeah, or
turn around.
All 3 of them. Yeah, Adam Levine walks up to me and goes, "Your body's absurd."
Holy fuck.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Giving off witch vibes. So
What are you listening to?
What have I been listening to, man? So their Lil Yachty album. Gotta mention that.
Mm-hmm.
But another album I was checking out recently. Well, I'll highlight a couple records. To be honest, I haven't really been listening to a lot of music just because I haven't been feeling like it. I've just been listening to a couple more podcasts, I guess, more usually.
Okay.
But a couple
Little
records.
More, he's too smart for us.
Yeah, no. Well, the podcasts I'm listening to are just like sports or like just.
Okay.
Whoa!
My bad. I pressed the button a couple times. My bad. Keep going.
Yeah. If you know Timothy De La Ghetto, Tim Chung Tarangsu,
Classic.
has a podcast and he just talks his shit, stuff.
Okay.
It's fun topics. But 2 records that I will mention that came out very recently that I really enjoyed. There's some album recs from Matt, but and I'm sure he'd recommend these to you as well. Is number 1 we mentioned before, Daniel Caesar, "Do You Like Me?" Super funky track. Bassline's incredible. Daniel Caesar's back, man. Yeah, his vocals are great. He put out a record earlier, I think either late last year, earlier this year, and it was. I think I talked to you about it. It was okay. It was good. Okay. But this one is Daniel Caesar, like, real back.
Yeah.
And then the second record I will recommend to you guys, please go check this out. Another dynamic duo featuring Anderson .Paak and Corday. Whew, two 10s. Beautiful, fun record. If you guys haven't heard their first kind of collab, R&P,
Classic.
Not gonna say what that stands for, but great song, super fun, so catchy. They have the back and forth and all that stuff. You get more of that in 2 10s and a little bit, a nice follow up to that.
Pretty fire beat switch in there too, I will say.
Fire beat switch. And yeah, they're just their dynamic is so fun and is so infectious that you can't help but love it. And also, I'm really loving this new era of Anderson .Paak just rocking different wigs. Obviously there's the Bayang, I forget what you call it. I think the wig for Silk Sonic, that was really nice. All that stuff. And then
the Pee-wee wig.
DJ Pee-wee with the blonde hair.
Yep.
And then now you got him with the dreads and all that stuff. It's really cool. I don't know, seeing Anderson .Paak just do his shit, man. Like, and one last record. Sorry, speaking of Anderson .Paak, another collab that I watched recently. They were on Fallon. Was Anderson .Paak and Freddie Gibbs.
Yes.
They performed "Feel No Pain," and I just want to highlight how much of an amazing record that is. Beautiful chorus. Freddie Gibbs is talking his shit on there. Shit heavy, but I carried it with ease. Yeah, just beautiful records. So there you go. Some recs. That's what's been in our rotation. Go ahead, check the chat. There's some great recommendations here. D-Mine mentions Jordan Ward, who's another one of my favorite artists. Love that.
Frank Ocean.
That rec. Frank. Yeah. Kay mentions Matt should listen to Tattooed Heart.
Ooh, thank you for the rec. I definitely will. I definitely will.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the Rex. Thank you guys for the chat. The chat is it was incredible today. Y'all did great. We will and yeah, any last words? It's kind of a short stream because I got dinner waiting for me downstairs. Brother just graduated.
Ooh.
Uh
Shout out
yeah.
Dom. Shout out our intern. He's graduated from intern to assistant.
Yeah, he graduated from serving both of us to serving just me now.
Yeah.
He's just gonna be following me everywhere I go
Yes.
and all that stuff.
Shout out
So no,
Dom, our
yeah,
your friendly neighborhood
Dami Wong.
Dami Wong.
Um,
Yes. Fortnite player, 2K master,
Filipino, yeah, Filipino king,
Filipino
Dominic.
king,
Yeah, love that kid. But
and
yeah, no,
big time Rush stan. That's what it was.
yes, big time right stand. There you go. But yeah, man. Hey, what else do you got to say to the thoughts before we dip out?
Thank you for being here. Thanks for tuning in. We are excited to show you what's to come. Yeah. Thanks for the Rex. Thanks for the conversations.
Yeah, do you mind? I will be having some very nice ramen. Later
Nice,
today.
nice. You know, I think I got some tacos waiting for me downstairs, so I gotta go hit that up.
All right, we're gonna be grubbing. See y'all next week.
Yes, sir.
Only beats.